thought about how weather influences crime? My name's Kelly, I'm a forensic psychologist, and today I want to talk to you about weather and crime. So, have you ever noticed that maybe you may not have noticed at all, but that crime seems to spike during heat waves? Or maybe wondered why people seem more irritable when it's hot? Well, science and research actually shows that you're not imagining these things if you have thought about them. And the connection between weather and crime is real. And today we're going to dive into this fascinating aspect within forensic psychology. So, really kind of thinking about what do we know about this? Researchers have been studying this connection for over 150 years. And the first study on this topic was conducted in 1842 by Adolf Quiddeltet, who noticed that violent crimes increased during hotter months. Fast forward to today, and we have modern technology, massive data sets, and AI analysing crime patterns like never before. And Corcoran and Zannau in 2022 actually did a systematic review titled Weather and Crime. So I'm going to drop all the references I mentioned in the caption for today. But what's actually happening here? So studies consistently show that warmer temperatures are linked to violent crime. So thinking about assaults, domestic violence, and even homicide. But why does heat increase crime? So I want to propose 3 different theories, hypotheses, models to maybe help to explain it. So first of all, we have the heat hypothesis. So the heat hypothesis states that hot temperatures can increase aggressive motives and behaviours. So although there can be alternative explanations can account for some portion of the observed increases in aggression when temperatures are higher, none can be actually sufficient to account for such of like the heat effects. So hot temperatures increase aggression is by directly increasing feelings of hostility and indirectly increasing aggressive thoughts. So Anderson has done some research on this, and again I'll put the references in the chat, in the caption. But I just invite you to think about the heat hypothesis. Think about how frustrated you get when you're stuck in traffic on a scorching day. And you can see maybe how that heat hypothesis could be true, or perhaps maybe not for you. The second theory is the routine activity theory. So this was first formulated by Cohen and Felsen in 1979, and this was later developed by Felsen. So it's arguably one of the most widely cited and influential theoretical constructs in the field of criminology and crime science more broadly. So in contrast to other theories of criminality, which are centred on the figures of the individual offending or the psychological, biological and social factors that maybe motivated the criminal act, the focus of routine activity is in relation to the space and time, emphasising the ecological nature and implications of it. So what this means for us is kind of that warmer weather actually means more people outside, so more social interactions and unfortunately more opportunities for crime, or potentially more crime. And then we have the negative effect escape model. So this is by Anderson and Deneve. So this is from 1992, and there's quite a lot of controversy around this model if you kind of look at some of the commentary, but it was thinking about that this model when it was brought out was actually misunderstood. So with the negative effect escape model, so what this actually means is that some of the studies that support this model suggest that extreme heat actually makes people so uncomfortable that they avoid conflict altogether, but only to a certain point. So it's imagining that the violence increases, it peaks, and then it drops at extreme heat levels. So thinking about when it's too hot, people actually may commit fewer crimes because they're avoiding activity at all. They just want to kind of rest and cool down. So if crime rises in hot weather, does it drop in cold weather? So the short answer is yes, but not all crime. So while violent crimes tend to decrease in freezing temperatures or colder temperatures, property crime like burglary actually is increased in winter. And then if we think about this, well, why is that? Well, longer nights, so more darker nights for longer, give people who may want to engage in that more cover. And also sometimes when people spend more time indoors, it can make break-ins easier to predict because they can see when people are coming and going easier. So let's push this a little bit bigger, thinking about the role of extreme weather and climate change. So with rising global temperatures, extreme weathers like heat waves, hurricanes, floods are becoming more frequent. And if we think about that, some studies even suggest that this extreme weather could lead to increased aggression, social unrest, and even riots in some cases. But think about when you've read about major blackouts, hurricanes, or disasters, crime often spikes in the aftermath, thinking about looting. But there's another angle to consider, that climate change could also increase economic hardship, displace populations, and create new crime trends. So this means people like myself and people maybe working law enforcement, policy makers need to rethink about crime prevention strategies in a changing world. So when we think about this, it is just a way to understand. As I said, there's models here, there's theories, but there are things that often, wherever there's going to be a theory, there's going to be something that counteracts it or to provide an alternative. So I'm not saying that these are things that would automatically lead to the other. I said, look at that systematic review. It's great to kind of exploring the differences, what we can assume or what we can agree to be based on evidence. But there are a lot of things to consider, as I said, with climate change, with where research is conducted, and the metrics by which things are measured. So with this, I just hope that it maybe makes you start thinking about weather in a different way. And if you found it interesting, let me know why in the comments. And please, as always, please like, share and subscribe. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.